Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. We're pumping back in the green on the cusp of reclaiming $57,000 in today's show. I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis. Also note that Morgan Stanley's 15,000 advisors will start pitching Bitcoin ETFs starting tomorrow. Game on, family. Also, Mr. 100 adds another 3,400 Bitcoin in a week, 2,800 Bitcoin in the past 48 hours, and continues to buy at that $53,000 dip. We're also going to be discussing the latest with Bitcoin speculators realizing 850 million losses in sub 50,000, Bitcoin price dump, as well as Japanese firm Metaplanet to invest roughly 59 million into Bitcoin. We'll also be discussing Cathie Wood's ARK resumes Coinbase buying as Bitcoin price drops below $50,000. Talk about a fantastic BTFD opportunity. You already know. We'll also be discussing the trader who called the May 2021 collapse, says Bitcoin is setting up for the fourth quarter of fireworks. Fireworks, let's go. We'll also be discussing Trump cautions Biden administration not to sell Bitcoin on the largest live stream of all time, which was yesterday with Adin Ross and Donald Trump. So we'll be reflecting upon some of the things shared regarding Bitcoin and their warning to the Dems not to sell the biddies. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, important to smash the likes, subscribe, and then hit the bell icon. Make sure you turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every day, just like this. Today is pod episode 1723. I'm your host, JV. It's August 6th, 2024. The market has come back to life. We're finally back in the green, up 3,000 on the day. So let's check out Coin 360. As you can see, Bitcoin up 5%. Right at 57,000 at the time of the live stream. We got Solana up 12%, XRP up 5%, Ether up roughly 3%. Entire market pumping and in the green, safe to say. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap sits just above $2 trillion. Such a nascent market, isn't it? So little. Bitcoin is only 1.1 trillion, considering a 900 trillion global addressable market. We're just getting started in this mofo. And the Bitcoin dominance is at 55.8%. Ether dominance, 15.2%. Checking out the top 100. Crypto gainers past 24 hours. We have Mu, interesting, up 48%, followed by Not up 30%, followed by AIOZ up 25%. So pretty impressive gainers across the board, to be expected considering the carnage in the market past few days. But checking out the crypto bubbles, more of a visual perspective on the day. Virtually, it looks like 97% of the top cryptos in the green. I only see 3 in the red. And zooming out on the monthly, get a broader perspective. Unfortunately, still the majority of the market, 90% safe to say, in the red. Big correction. But anyways, checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. We're finally in extreme fear. And guess what? Like clockwork, when we're in extreme fear, we typically get a big pump. Today, we just had a big pump, and we're at a 17, the lowest we have seen this in a very long time. Hence why we love this metric. So there you have it, family. Let me know your thoughts on the market. Do you think the bottom is in? But yeah, let's keep it moving. Today's Bitcoin technical analysis headline here reads, let me make sure you can see it. Here we go. The Bitcoin bottom is not in. Bitcoin trader set price targets as low as $40,000. Jeez Louise. Here you're looking at the daily chart. Bitcoin tumbled below 50,000 during the early Asian trading hours yesterday, August 5th, as risk-off sentiment gripped the global markets. Bitcoin down nearly 31% over the last 3 days, once in a 7 to 10 year event that has left analysts with mixed opinions on whether the price action will recover in the short term. Quick shout out to Chandy10 Music. Appreciate the super. She put quickie, dip, don't trip. Nipsey's got this. Biddy's got this. I love roller coasters. Biddy hodlers. Gonna be the roasters. Sorry, fiat holders. I like that. Thank you for the bars and thank you for the super. That's very kind of you, Chandy. So here we go. Bitcoin's dropped below 50,000, has seen more than, 500 billion wiped out of the markets. And shout out Chandy again. She just gifted 5 memberships to the channel. So I want to shout all the new members out. Shout out Shiv Y. Shout out Alex Me. MDHI, Home Inspection, MercyTube, and Clayton Russell. You've all been hooked up with the MicroStrategy membership of the channel. On behalf of Chandy 10 Music, so make sure to subscribe to her, support her music. It's incredible, the #1 Bitcoin music channel. And thank you for always giving. You're incredible, Chandy, and welcome all the new members. Back to the DA here. So yeah, more than 500 billion wiped out of the crypto market in just 24 hours. This must be a typo. Is that correct? 500 billion. That's such a wow. Considering Bitcoin is the market cap is 1 trillion, that's like half the Bitcoin market cap gone, but we're discussing total crypto market cap. That's just wild. So according to CoinGlass, 1 billion worth of leveraged positions were liquidated across derivative markets, with long liquidations accounting for 74% of these, of 803 million. Now, over the same period, more than 404 million worth of Bitcoin positions were liquidated, of which 282 million were long liquidations. The current correction of the Bitcoin price comes against a backdrop of numerous factors, including weak U.S. economic and job data on August 2nd, which ignited recession fears and rising tensions in the Middle East. Now, QCP shared the following regarding the markets. They say, have we been hit by the perfect storm? And then Bob Lucas referred to this as a once in a 7 to 10 year event, which makes it difficult to tell which move the market will take immediately after such a drawdown. And another analyst, McKenna, shared the following: this isn't a V-bottom scenario. I believe the value will remain cheap for some time and enter an accumulation market phase. Then another analyst, Mikhail Van de Popp, shared is binary, either V-shape back up, and it is going to rotate towards Bitcoin as a safe haven alongside gold and ETH, taken over with DeFi as the safe haven for the banking systems. Now, some analysts are literally eyeing 40,000. According to crypto quant Ki Jong Yu, set that lower target, actually 45 to 55, and went on to share that if the price drops below the demand zone, it'll confirm a bear market as it did in November of 2018 and March of 2020, as well as May of 2022. And then we have Scott Melker, who shared poly market traders are betting that Bitcoin will continue to drop, predicting a 45% chance it'll fall below 45,000 before September. This sentiment spiked to 65% during the European trading hours amid many liquidations. And then Tor de Meester, Bitcoin analyst, spotted Bitcoin trading just above 51,000, saying that the 45 to 40,000 demand zone could be a technical downside target for Bitcoin, as they outlines here on X. So there you have it. You got some bearish scenarios there. And before I pull up some of the live charts, here's some breaking news. Morgan Stanley's 15,000 advisors will start pitching Bitcoin ETFs starting tomorrow. Let's freaking go. That's pretty major, family. And then also Mr. 100 added 3,399 Bitcoin this week, added 2,800 Bitcoin in the last 48 hours, and solid DCA dip buying, most at 53,000. The price is right. That's right. And shout out Invest Answers. Now, what was interesting, this guy, Nassim, was on Squawk Box and ultimately fudding Bitcoin as he does best. And Max points out, as Nassim has confirmed, I told him to buy Bitcoin back when we met in Paris more than 10 years ago at under $100. He is the thinking man's Peter Schiff. And my response to this stupid interview, I don't know why they put these so-called experts on the news when they know nothing about Bitcoin, but here's what I wrote. Why they even invite this idiot on that clearly knows nothing about Bitcoin to speak about Bitcoin? Like, serious, who gives a what about his opinion? Considering this who advised to short Bitcoin at 30,000, no respect. So he is an enemy of Bitcoin. I think you guys should note that. His name's Nassim. We don't like this guy, and Bitcoin has been an enemy for a very long time. And Max did try to orange pill him. He refused, and he thinks it's funny that Bitcoin, he just laughs at Bitcoin, so no respect for that guy. But anyways, family, let's check out some of the live charts. Here's the live 1 hour chart right now, live and in the flesh. You should be able to see on your screen as we're hovering above 56,800 on Coinbase, brought to you by TradingView. We do have a nice rising wedge formation, clearly bullish. But we do have a target to the downside. Needs to be on your radar at 48,700. Again, the current low for the cycle of more recent is 49, which we just tapped the other day. But good to see the rising wedge formation on the 1 hour chart. A bunch of green candles as well, 4 consecutive greens on this particular chart. And checking out the 4 hour, You can see looking bullish after the recovery, after bottoming out at that 49 level. We do have some big, green respectable candles here, and it looks like the trend is heading back north, which is a good sign. Checking out the one-day chart, again, live and in the flesh right now. You can see those big red ugly candles. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive, but today we're back in the green. So recovery, that's why I want to know if you feel the bottom is in. But do note we do have a bottom target at 47.7 on the daily chart right now, which could be in play as well. And checking out the 1 week chart, which is typically the most bullish, we still have that cup and handle breakout formation just shy of 26,000. So we're looking bullish on the weekly chart, though we did just get a big weekly candle, red close, unfortunately. And zooming out on the monthly, get more of a broader perspective here. We can see sideways kind of trading action it's been, but yeah, we'll see how the monthly close goes for August. But unfortunately, we had a terrible end of the month July performance, and then June wasn't too spectacular either. So it's been a pretty bearish past couple of months. We need the bull to resume. March was when we hit the current all-time high of 73.8. That was back in mid-March. So we'll see where the price action takes us from here. Next headline reads, Bitcoin spectaculars realize 850 million in losses and sub 50,000. Bitcoin price dip. That's right. Long-term hodlers only sold around 600,000 of the Bitcoin during the flash crash, meaning the whales and the smart money, the long-term hodlers, the diamond hands with the laser eyes, they ain't selling. They ain't scared of this. Bitcoin diamond hands sell just 600,000 at a loss, which is virtually nothing. So respect to all my diamond hand laser eyes out there. Now, when we delve deeper into the spending pattern, we had about 850 million in loss realization and the downward movement. However, only 600,000 was realized by the long-term hodlers. The rest was realized by the short-term investors. The largest volume is concentrated in investors up to 3 months old, indicating that the price drop is putting pressure on newcomers to capitulate. The historical significance of the huge number of the loss-making on-chain transactions was noted by crypto investor Quinton, who cited data from fellow crypto quant contributor Axel Adel Jr. And with Bitcoin, we've seen it bounce by more than 10% versus the 6-month lows. And it was confirmed that not everyone believes that the worst is over. So some of you believe we're going to dip lower. Others say we're out of those treachery waters right now. So let me know your thoughts. That's why I have the poll up in the live stream family. In a warning to ex-followers, Arthur Hayes shared that he said the relief bounce across the markets would not last. Quoting him here, that was the first wave. Now we wait for bodies of TradeFi over leverage Muppets to surface. Referring to victims of the Japanese yen carry trade, thought to form the bulk of the fallout from the week's Nikkei meltdown, referring to the Japanese markets. Then wave 2 begins, he says. If there is going to be a bailout, the market needs to deliver more pain by Friday. Enjoy the respite, for the war shall continue. Let me know. Do you think we'll have more pain this week in the markets, or do you think the worst of the pain is over? Let me know your thoughts, family, on that. Anyways, next story of the day. Let's discuss Metaplanet. This Japanese company has been stacking the biddy, which we love to see. Headline here reads, Japanese firm Metaplanet to invest almost 59 million into Bitcoin. That's right. Metaplanet Inc. announced a allotment of the 7th series of stock acquisition rights to all common shareholders during the company's board of director meeting. This is called the Sailor Put. He's pulling a Mikey Sailor. The decision was made to raise approximately 10 billion yen, worth around 69 million, with 8.5 billion yen, worth almost 59 million, set for investment into Bitcoin. All common shareholders will receive stock acquisition rights as of September 5th, with the allotment effective from September 6th onward. Winning. The firm's decision to invest most of the raised funds in Bitcoin is based on the long-term appreciation of the assets and the ability to hedge against currency depreciation. The Japanese stock market recently faced its worst one-day drop since '87, when the Bank of Japan raised rates on short-term government bonds on July 31st. The shift from 0% to 0.25% set off a chain of events that resulted in a huge sell-off of cryptocurrencies as Bitcoin and Ether witnessed price crashes of roughly 18 and 26% Now, on July 8th, the publicly listed investment firm and consulting company purchased 2.5 million BTC, or 2.5 million worth of Bitcoin, with 400 million yen for a total of 42.5 BTC. After the purchase, Metaplanet held a total of 203 BTC, bought at an average of roughly 10 million yen, which is roughly 62,000 USD. The firm announced its entrance into Bitcoin back in April, adopting the asset as a treasury asset and purchasing its first holdings for 6.5 milli. And on July 25th at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, how many of you were Nashville bound? I know Chandy was, let me know. Metaplanet and Semler Scientific executives expressed admiration for the MicroStrategy Bitcoin playbook. Again, that's the Mikey Saylor put. Simon Garofovic, CEO of Metaplanet, explained that his firm was beginning to show characteristics associated with zombie companies before strategically pivoting into BTC. He said the firm eventually realized the Bitcoin is the apex monetary asset. That's right, the apex predator. It would make a great element for the Japanese investment company's treasury. So there you go, yo. Japanese companies adopting the biddy. That's virtually the MicroStrategy of Japan. So let's freaking go. I think more publicly traded companies should be doing the same thing. It's the smartest move they can make. What's the alternative? Melting ice cube of all that fiat just depreciating due to inflation. So if you're a cash-heavy business and you're saving in fiat, what do we call those folks around yonder?
We call them poor. We call them poor.
Yeah, so melting ice cube or the greatest appreciating asset of all mankind to ever exist. All right, guys, next story of the day. Let's discuss the latest with Cathie Wood. She continues to buy the dip. Smart money's buying, family. Cathie Wood's ARK resumes Coinbase buying as Bitcoin drops below 50 G's, baby. Oh, that's right. Cathie Wood's investment firm ARK Invest is back to buying the Coinbase stock amid a major market sell-off, with Bitcoin briefly dropping below 50 G's. Yesterday, August 5th, ARK purchased almost 94,000 Coinbase shares, resuming buying after a long period of dumping the stock this year in 2024. The purchase costs $17.8 million, with Coinbase stock closing at $189 August 6th, according to TradingView. ARK's return to buying Coinbase came amid a significant decline in the crypto market, triggered by massive volatility across traditional equity markets. August 5th, Bitcoin plummeted below 50 G's for the first time since February, briefly dropping to as low as 49,000, according to CoinGecko. The price drop erased much of Bitcoin's gains over the past few months, as Bitcoin tumbled more than 20% from around 63,000 on August 1st before recovering to around 55. And it's crazy because we're on the cusp. We were doing pump watches on the cusp of hitting 70,000, and then boom, all the way down to 49. Crazy. But anyways, Bitcoin's back up today, as we know, and had our little correction, but not doing so shabby right now. And the Coinbase stock dipped alongside the Bitcoin price. Coinbase reflected the state of the crypto market. Over the past 12 months, Bitcoin added around 93% to its value. Whoa. While Coinbase surged more than 110%, according to TradingView, and in line with the Bitcoin plunge, Coinbase shares tumbled 20% on August 5th, dropping to as low as $173 per stock. Following a subsequent recovery, the Coinbase stock closed $189 on Monday, down around 7%. Now, ARK dumped 26 million in Jack Dorsey's block shares and sold Ether ETFs as well. That's right. In addition to resuming the Coinbase buying, ARK intensified trading in other crypto-related stocks and Ethereum future-based ETF. August 5th, ARK dumped 454,000 shares of Jack Dorsey's block, worth around 26 million. And amongst other related trades, ARK sold 70,000 Pro shares, the ETH ETF, for 3.4 million. ARK also sold shares from its Ethereum futures ETF stash, the ARK 21 shares active Ethereum future strategy, selling 17,000 of those shares for roughly 470,000. So while dumping block and multiple ETH futures funds, ARK purchased 681,000 shares of crypto-friendly stock trading app Robinhood for 11.2 million. So clearly, ARK is bullish on Coinbase stock, Robinhood, Bitcoin, and don't seem to be so bullish on the ETH ETF or Jack Dorsey's block with the recent selling. So there you have it, yo. What are your thoughts on those acquisitions from ARK and Cathie Wood? And let's move into our next story of the day and discuss this 220,000 bullish target. Now we discussed all the bear scenarios, potentially correcting to 40,000. Now we get to discuss the bullishness. And then we'll discuss even more bullishness. And the latest with Trump and Adin Ross discussing Bitcoin and advising and warning the Biden administration not to sell. So here we go. This headline reads, the trader who called the May 2021 collapse says Bitcoin setting up for a fourth quarter of fireworks. That's right. The veteran trader who accurately predicted the May 2021 crypto collapse says Bitcoin setting up for a solid end of the year performance. We're talking Dave the Wave. He shared a chart on X suggesting the Bitcoin is trading within a range between $54,000 and $74,000. However, the trader's chart also suggests by the end of this year, the range will brush up against the long-term diagonal support that could act as a launch pad for the upwards price action before 2025. Quoting him here, Bitcoin setting up for a fourth quarter fireworks. Let me know if you agree or disagree. And it shows us shooting on up to roughly 120,000 per coin. And here's what the analysts explain verbatim. With Bitcoin price currently stuck in a multi-month range, we can easily forget that this is also currently pushing all-time highs, and where the current price was also first reached back over 3 years ago. Though psychologically, we have become used to the price, the fact remains it is at a very high level and for an extended period of time. Also of significance here is that this range has provided a relative macro stability to price, where it has neither gone parabolic to the upside or collapsed back in a serious correction. Rather, it has held up where selling pressure has been met by the buying pressure. That it failed to launch into a parabolic spike is, from the technical perspective, a positive, showing a more stable and technical advance in price without the threat of post-parabolic collapse. Now, Dave the Wave said last month that the Bitcoin recent deep correction into the 50,000 range could be beneficial for Bitcoin, positioning it to rally by 400% towards the bull market price target of 220,000 per Bitcoin by the end of 2025. Short-term Bitcoin pain, long-term gain. So there you have it, coming from analyst Dave the Wave. Let me know if you agree or disagree with his bullish 220,000 price prediction by the end of next year. Personally, I think this is very conservative, and I'll give you my insights here in a moment. My prediction, I'm sticking to it, which I've been calling for a long time, is this particular cycle. I think we reached the peak of the epoch next year as well in 2025. But my scenario for bear scenario is 222,000, same as Bring Facts has been calling for a long time. I know JC Ice has been calling 225,000 as her bear scenario. So we're all in the same alignment here. But for bull scenario, I think we have the potential to soar to 750,000 per coin. So somewhere between 222,000 and 750,000. Now, why are some of the reasons I'm so bullish on this projection for the cycle peak for the epoch? Obviously, we're in unprecedented times. The previous cycle was driven purely from retail, and we got as high as 69,000 back on November 10th of 2021. And we could have potentially hit 100,000 back in that cycle if we didn't have bad actors such as Bankman-Fried working alongside Gary Gensler to destroy, you know what I mean, the market to the best of their abilities and suppress the price action. But I digress. Other bullish catalysts, clearly, we have the institutional FOMO that also didn't exist previous cycle, which was, again, driven purely off of retail. And we have ETF inflows, which are insane. I believe BlackRock and the major asset managers already have collectively done over 20 billion worth of volume in 6 months, which is unheard of, right? And then we have all these other things going on. We have U.S. presidential election this year. And isn't it ironic that the Bitcoin halvings coincide with the presidential elections every 4 years? Such as we had in 2020 and previously in 2016, and then in 2028 will be the next presidential election for the following halving. Do you think this is all coincidence, or was it designed to be this way? Let me know your thoughts. Other bullish catalysts, I mean, there's just so many on a macroeconomic level. Also, the weakness of the dollar suggests very strong Bitcoin, and the fact they're going to have to continue to print, that they're going to try to print their ways out of the 35 trillion debt, which we know is impossible to do. It's an oxymoron. You can't print your way out of the debt. But what they're going to do is make the purchasing power of the dollar virtually worthless. It's guaranteed to decline like a melting ice cube, as Saylor once brilliantly described it as. Those who say fiat in the bank, it's a melting ice cube, right? And those who stack the biddy, it's the ultimate savings. It's the greatest savings to ever exist. Your purchasing power is mathematically guaranteed to increase with Bitcoin. So the bigger picture here, we save in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to do its thing. No one can stop it. It's immutable. It's unconfiscatable. And you need to learn how to self-custody your Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, ETF BTC is not the same. That type of Bitcoin can be confiscated. You don't own it, and it's not decentralized. You got to know that. So true Bitcoin is self-custodied. Also, as a reminder, don't keep your keys. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Don't keep your coins on the exchange. Not your keys, not your coin. Nacho keys, nacho cheese. 225,000 end of the year, says JC. And then I saw the rest of the target. 500 to 750,000 is the cycle peak. I love it, JC. Respect to your bullishness. Let's now dive into our featured story of the day. Trump cautions Biden administration not to sell the Bitcoin. That's right. Trump was actually on Adin Ross's live stream yesterday. I watched some of it. And it was the largest live stream of all time, over 1 million people. So I think they set records there. And it was ultimately Trump and Mar-a-Lago invited Adin Ross. Adin Ross gifted him a Rolex. I've never seen a man get gifted so many Rolexes before. He also got gifted the Cybertruck. I think that's the new vehicle that Tesla makes. And they wrapped it with Trump and all this stuff. But it was pretty interesting stream nonetheless. So let's break this baby down and discuss it. We all know Trump recently spoke at the Nashville conference, made some very bold promises that if he is elected president, for some of the things that come to my mind that I can recall, he said he'd Gary Gensler. He'd fire Gary Gensler day one on the job. And he repeated it twice because it got such a good applaud. You know, I'm sure you guys watched it by now. And he also made some other promises that the United States would not sell or get rid of any of their Bitcoin. And then, ironic enough, within 48 hours, 200,000 Bitcoin was moved, you know, which basically shows you their intentions to potentially get rid of it. And before a Republican such as Trump can get in office to stockpile the Bitcoin as a strategic reserve for the Bitcoin or for the United States Treasury. So again, very interesting. So let's break this one down. In a recent interview with streamer and influencer Adin Ross, and let me know if you actually watched the interview, former President Trump cautioned the current administration against selling the United States Bitcoin holdings. The former president reiterated his stance that if the U.S. does not innovate on the digital asset front, other countries will. He noted that China, the U.S.'s most significant geopolitical rival, is already making advances in the cryptocurrency and AI sectors. Trump then turned his attention to praising the virtues of the Bitcoin industry, quoting him here from the interview. It is a very modern currency. It is a very modern form. And I know a lot of very good people that are really into that world and into that market. They are smart. They are good people. And they think it is going to be very beneficial. Well said. Well said there, Trump. The 2024 Republican Party presidential nominee steered the conversation surrounding Bitcoin mining and AI towards the energy generation that underpins both activities. Now, Fred Thiel, chairman and CEO of Bitcoin mining company Marathon Digital Holdings, took the stage at the Bitcoin 2024 Nashville conference in Tennessee to share his belief that the Bitcoin mining industry would thrive under Trump. Thiel's fellow panelists were also inclined to agree with Jason Less of Riot Platforms, saying he did not expect the policies of a potential Kamala Harris administration to deviate from that of the administration of President Joe Biden, because they're one and the same as far as their handlers are concerned. They're puppet masters, right? Now, Trump's comments that the U.S. needs to invest heavily in energy infrastructure to support the industries of the future have been echoed by analysts and industry spokespeople alike. They see investments into Bitcoin mining infrastructure and AI data centers as ways to reinforce the energy grid. Now, Trump recently floated the idea of using a small amount of Bitcoin to pay off the U.S. government's massive $35 trillion national debt. And then he said, give him a little Bitcoin. He alluded to the power of the supply-capped asset to completely wipe away the U.S. government debt by simply appreciating against the inflating U.S. dollar over time and slowly siphoning the value out of the crumbling fiat system. This would allow the United States to avert a full-blown economic disaster traditionally seen during currency collapses by slowly and gradually transitioning most of the country's wealth into a new store of value and a sound monetary system constrained by hard Mathematics. That's right. With Bitcoin, it's immutable. They can never change. They can never change it. Nobody can change it. No politician, no corrupt government, etc. We also know it's programmed to only be 21 million Bitcoin to ever be total circulating supply in existence. But guess what? It's even more scarce than that, because there's probably 5 or 6 million Bitcoin lost and gone forever, which means there'll probably only ever be 15 million Bitcoin circulating, which means Bitcoin is that much more valuable and that much more scarce. Bitcoin, you really can't compare it to anything else when it comes to store value. You may say, but JV, gold has been around for centuries. And while it has been around for centuries, the difference is relative scarcity versus true scarcity. Relative scarcity means there's not an infinite supply, but they tend to find more every year and have no problem digging the earth to find more gold. And they could always invest more money and resources into mining more gold. So it's relatively scarce. Bitcoin, true scarcity. And the first money ever created to have true scarcity. There's nothing it can be compared to. That's why we're up over 50 million% since the inception, since the Genesis block 15 years ago, 2009 on January 3rd, right? Bitcoin will forever increase your purchasing power against the dollar. It's mathematically guaranteed. That's the one thing I can guarantee you. On this show, I do not give investment advice. I can't guarantee you anything except the fact that Bitcoin is mathematically guaranteed to increase your purchasing power, and the fact that the dollar is mathematically guaranteed to decrease your purchasing power. And everything shared on this stream is for entertainment purposes only. This is an opinion-based show, so anything I say, take with a grain of salt. Just saying. But let me know your thoughts. Do you think that the United States will stockpile Bitcoin if Trump gets in office? Do you think Trump will get in office? Do you think Kamala will win and continue weaponizing the crypto industry against us, as they have been doing? Senator Warren, Biden, Miss Yellen, and Gary Gensler. We call those the Four Stooges. Let me know your thoughts, family, and I'll read your comments out loud. And do you think we can get to $1 million if hypothetically United States of America were to stockpile 1 million Bitcoin, as Senator, what's her name, Cynthia Lummis proposed at the conference? She spoke as the special guest after Trump. Let me know your thoughts on all this, and I'll read your comments out loud. Welcome, everybody, to the Q&A segment of the live show. Nipinator in the building, and to the Nipinator. You got it. It's like lithium. We're supposed to be super scarce, but it's all around the world. Precisely. It's kind of like diamonds as well. All these markets are controlled, and there's probably a lot more than you realize, but they're smart. They understand scarcity, and so they release it slowly so they can mark up the prices. Same thing in all these markets, family. Gold, precious metals, diamonds, you name it. But Bitcoin is the only thing with the true scarcity, so there's no second best.